What's up, guys? Sean the Cool Yaboo here again, and we back at it. I'm excited. We back at it. We're doing long form again. Yeah, we'll just keep spitting out these reactions. 3 reactions a week. I got y'all. First tips. Oh, you gonna start streaming again? I don't know about tonight, but today we're doing 30 minutes of We Lost Media. Now this is gonna be 2 segments because you know I'm doing long form. I'm not doing 30 and like no. After that whole dung and romper thing was like an hour, I was like, yeah, nah, bro, I'm just 15, 20 minutes, you know. So 15 each. So I'm gonna get 15 today, 15 tomorrow, and I got a bunch of other stuff lined up, y'all. Please stay tuned. Definitely, check out my TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff, and yeah, let's get on to the video. Oh my gosh, bro, I done heard this like a million times.
Before I get into this first entry on this We Lost Media list, I wanted to give an update on a piece of We Lost Media which has been partially found. About 10 months ago, funnily like a month after my first We Lost Media video, further menus in the WeFit Body Check channel were made accessible. Here's a little rundown for those that may be new around here. So the WeFit Body Check channel was a Japanese exclusive Wii channel launched in early 2009. Developed in cooperation between Nintendo, NEC, Panasonic, and Hitachi, it used data from the Wii Fit and DS's personal trainer Walking to send body measurements and fitness data to health professionals who would then provide personalized lifestyle advice. Access to use this channel was denied unless you had a specific SD card and download ticket, often distributed through employers or insurance programs linked to the partner companies. Since its servers were region-specific and tied to Japanese services, much of the channel's functionality has been lost, with only partial assets and a few preserved screenshots available in archives or reverse engineered by hobbyists. However, recently, projects like WeLink have begun reviving or emulating the channel's limited functionality, and that was all we had until 10 months ago, when a video titled WeFit Body Check channel First Look was uploaded to the WeLink YouTube channel. It starts off like usual, a Me is chosen and registered, which is about the furthest you could go without the channel asking you for the SD card. However, the Me is actually successfully registered, something that wasn't possible until further work was done on the channel. When you click Begin on the Start menu, which looks about the same as the Start menu from the actual Wii Fit game, you are then greeted with the Main menu, something we hadn't seen until this point. There's 4 boxes to choose from: Questions, Send Email, Answer History, and Connect to DS. All of the boxes are inaccessible and grayed out, aside from Connect to DS. Clicking this Connect to DS button, it lets you connect the personal trainer walking game to the WeFit Body Check channel, with instructions and screenshots of the game too. And that's all she wrote. The WeFit Body Check channel still hasn't been explored to its full capacities, and it's unsure if it ever will be, considering a piece of lost media like this is quite tricky to preserve. You needed some sort of health official to actually make use of the channel, and since no Japanese health officials probably even remember the service, that's completely out of the picture. But the WeLink team is very talented. Go show them some love. I'll have them linked in the description. Just thought I'd share this little update before we get into today's first new piece of We Lost Media. You may know this, but Action Replay was a line of video game cheating devices developed and manufactured by the UK company Pt1. I'd say they were best known for their Action Replay DS cartridge. Anyways, in early 2008, after the discovery of an exploit in the signature verification of the Wii, new products from Pt1, including a version of the Action Replay for the Wii, started appearing in online storefronts for pre-order, releasing on January 2nd, 2008. Here's a Best Buy listing for the product. While the Wii Freeloader, another disc-based device from Pt1, ended up being widely sold on multiple storefronts including their own, the Action Replay was soft-launched on considerably fewer sites, though it was available for order for a significant time period.
So it's like
on June
G-codes?
16, 2008, Nintendo released version 3.3 of the Wii system firmware, patching the exploit used by Pt1 to allow this disc to run. While Pt1 continued selling the Wii Freeloader, albeit with a warning saying that it could not be used on these updated systems, the storefront listings for the Action Replay started to disappear at this time, with only the Best Buy store page remaining to this day. It is possible that Pt1 wanted to postpone the full launch of the device until they had found a way to restore functionality on the latest Wii system firmware, but this would never occur.
Yeah, y'all, sorry.
This next one's actually really interesting to me. User Theorish on the r/Lost Media subreddit made a post 3 years ago about a odd Wii Sports Resort poster they found while using Google Street View. They are located at the Gamesman store, which is basically Australian GameStop. And in very low quality, you can make out what appears to be a Wii Sports Resort poster. You can tell by the design at the top, that is the same design that is on the cover of Wii Sports Resort. There's also some big text that's...
No, but the guy or whatever that thing right there, that looked like a damn police officer holding a big ass rock or a stone. It's so blurry.
Now, but that's not really what's important. What's interesting here is this thing in the middle.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
The point of the Reddit post was to ask users what exactly is that thing in the middle. OP calls it a mix of Olimar and Wii Fit Trainer, although that's clearly not the case because I don't know where in Wii Sports Resort that appears.
Yes.
This post never really gained a whole lot of traction, but a few users in the comments had some theories as to what it could be. One user says, "I think the figure might be a me holding a golf club. I have no idea what the ball next to it would be other than a screenshot of the island." Another user says, maybe it was made by the shop themselves rather than an official poster. This business is now defunct, so contacting them over this would be practically useless. Another user thinks it could be a me aiming a bow at an archery target, but that in my opinion just can't be the case from the looks of it. And one final user stated that they think it was a me doing some sort of handstand trick, with the ball being its head and the colored portion being their body. They provided a rudimentary sketch to help visualize this idea. After looking at the real image again,
he might actually be onto something. Hold on, what? Yeah, I can't unsee it now.
The head is just way too big to be the head of a me character. If you want to know what I think of this, I feel like it's a me wearing a light blue shirt. At least that's what I think it is, but who knows? No high quality version of this poster is serviced online anywhere else, which leads me to believe it's just some weird rewind. Me wearing is way too sketch to help visualize this idea.
Yeah, it's not that, bro.
Again, the head is just way too big to me.
No, it's not. That's at first I thought it was the golf club one with like the background, but no, I see it. Oh my. But yeah, this has to be one made by the business, if that's the case. Oh my gosh, bro.
The head of a me character. If you want to know what I think,
it's gonna spark a lot of conversation, but you gotta comment down.
Shirt. At least that's what I think it is, but who knows? No high quality version of this poster has serviced online anywhere else, which leads me to believe it's just some weird original piece of artwork from the store owners.
It is,
Still though, it's definitely an interesting story. Catch of the Day is a cancelled fishing game developed by Electronic Arts that planned to release on the Nintendo Wii and DS around June 2008. The game was far in development around this time until it was cancelled for unknown reasons. According to the page from the Nintendo Power issue, in the game you fish in different areas of a map where you either catch small fish or larger fish, which there are 140 variations of, with both fictional and non-fictional fish. You can play as 10 different characters, including a cat or a pirate or a robot. This game was complemented by classical music while you fish. A prominent fish named the Kraken, who's featured on artwork and photos for the game, is a gigantic red dragon-like fish who is described as hard to catch. Most of this information is seemingly described for the Wii version of the game. The DS version of the game has barely any documentation, but is described as similar to the Wii version while using these stylus for controls. The game was then concluded to be cancelled after some time passed with no word. No builds of the game have resurfaced as of now, although multiple screenshots that come from this Nintendo Power issue along with a video of the Wii version do exist. The video in question, posted on March 7th, 2022, showcases an early and unfinished build of the game, found on a Wii RVTH development unit. The game does not appear to function fully in the video, and the build has yet to be released publicly, although it wouldn't really
what is this nonsense?
Because the whole 8-minute video is just this, really. Super Mario Strikers Charge was released on the
all sports games, by the way,
7 and created by Next Level Games. It is the sequel to Super Mario Strikers on the GameCube. Now, you may be wondering, hey, isn't this an actual game? Why is this on a lost media list? Well, that's because there is an earlier version of this game that we don't really know much about, considering it was cancelled. Maybe this video should be called, like, We Cancelled Media, I don't fucking know. Anyways, before it gained the subtitle Charge later in development, the game was initially going under the simple title of Super Mario Strikers 2. The original title was scrapped before its first public showing at the We Prove Our Promise keynote in August 2006. There were many differences between this concept game and the final version. In one stage, ball launchers were considered as an aesthetic addition to levels. These are machines that would have propelled multiple balls up towards characters during Mega Strikes. In the final game, these were dropped and only one ball model was shown when a player is able to activate one. These small mechanisms weren't implemented into the game as they were viewed as unnecessary details that would have needlessly extended the animation sequence. Another visual idea that the artists at Next Level Games experimented with towards the start of the development were mechs and other vehicles, which would have decorated the perimeter of certain stages during gameplay. In most of the concept art, these are commonly seen operated by toads, and they would have been dotted around the sides of pitches, acting like security guards and performing other miscellaneous tasks. One of the machines that did make it into the final product was a design featuring a toad riding a captive blooper machine. These can be seen in the Wasteland stadium towards the side of the field, acting as security guards.
I have to play me some
However,
strikers.
some small revisions
Not
were
on the
made
channel,
from it to
but
its final iteration.
you know,
The iconic
we only
football
do
featured
Sega
in the game
here.
was also
Thought he was supposed to add this video there. He was making a Wii video.
12 reiterations and grew much simpler over
Yacht
time.
Daisy.
Originally, it was envisioned as an elaborate, high-tech sphere made up of different exhausts that would glow different colors. The final version features comparatively few exhaust ports and radiates only one color at a time. At one point, the artists toyed around with giving characters a functional armor and stuff. They also thought about changing the level of armor each character would have equipped, as well as certain...
Yo, now this one with like no leg armor, bro. They should have just kept the leg armor. That's just killing me, bro. Nah, bro. I was gonna make some dick jokes, but I mean, bro.
other
Like,
details.
and then they left the fucking feet. Oh my. Okay.
Character model evolved
The
over
first
course
one
of
is
its creation.
perfect, bro. They should have
There's
never
so
tried
many
to change
other
that.
unique details
Oh
to this
my
version of the
gosh.
game, and it honestly kind of disappoints me that we didn't get this version. Although the final is still really cool, but man, this version just seems so much more industrial.
On September 14th, 2006, a Japanese Nintendo press conference was held which featured footage of a bunch of different Beta Wii content. Most interesting of all, there was footage of the Beta Wii menu alongside all of the Beta Wii channels. On this menu, we can see early versions of the Disc channel, Me channel, Photo channel, Shop channel, Forecast channel, and News channel. All of these channels, aside from the Disc and Me channel, have entirely different banner images, which is quite interesting. However, footage of these channels is actually available on different parts of YouTube, and you really ought to go digging for them. The Beta Me channel's gameplay is almost exactly the same as the final, except there are some additional sound effects when selecting certain buttons. No footage of the other Beta channels actually exists, aside from the Forecast channel, which is also my favorite. The menu for this one is very different, taking on a teal, blue, and white color scheme, rather than a dark blue and green design of the
cell
final.
phones, right?
Both are very visually appealing,
functional.
however I feel like this one may be a bit too bright. There is no music on this build of the Forecast channel, and the globe menu also looks fairly different. Maybe it's just the way this footage is captured, being off of a kiosk screen and not an actual recording, but the globe looks a little bit brighter than the final.
Okay.
While there is no actual footage of the Beta Shop channel working, here are some images made by Nintendo that roughly show how it would have looked. This version of the Shop channel takes on a very different look, being all orange and white instead of blue and white of the final. While it would be really cool to actually use these early versions of the Forecast, Me, News, and Shop channels, I'm afraid we never will due to the only way we could find a way to play these beta builds is probably through another data leak. So for now, the beta versions of these channels will remain lost media. As you may know, the newest Pilot Wings games we received was on the 3DS, called Pilot Wings Resort. It was basically a reimagining of both the Pilot Wings series as well as Wii Sports Resort's Island Flyover game mode. However, there was no Pilot Wings game planned and released for the Wii. Or so we thought. This is Wii Fly. Not Wii Fly, Wii Fly. It's like those Wii ski games and whatnot, considering it's not part of the Wii series, but its title makes it seem like it is.
Wii Fly.
The game studio, Factor 5, planned this Pilot Wings Wii game and started developing
My
it all the
brain
way back in
hurts right now.
2007. Nintendo would eventually turn down the pitch, partially due to a Pilot Wings inspired mode in
Okay,
the Wii
sorry.
Sports Resort
I had
game,
to say it, bro.
but that
Shout out
wasn't
to
the end
Joe.
for
I know it
Pilot
was on the
Wings
music
Wii.
page, bro.
The developers eventually connected with the publisher
Oh
Green
my
Screen
gosh.
Interactive and started development on this game. The game itself was planned to be a realistic, open-world title that let players fly around a number of famous cities across the globe. Additionally, the game would tap into the Wii's weather channel to simulate the weather and time of day at each location at any given time. In addition to the typical Pilot Wings missions, Wii Fly also included a photo mode that let players pause and rotate the camera for mid-air flights.
Who
The
is
coolest thing about
this?
this cancelled Pilot Wings Wii game is that there was a peripheral that Factor 5 was working on, which would let you control your Mii character's flight with your head movements.
Yo,
The only
where's
existing
Jasmine?
footage of this cancelled game is the 3-minute trip.
Wait.
Characters
Yo, where's
fly,
Jasmine, bro?
movements.
Where's
The only existing footage of this cancelled game is
Oh
the
my
3-minute trailer,
gosh,
which has
bro.
been playing in the background during this segment. In this footage, we can see a bunch of different interesting things, such as Mii's actually being playable characters. There's a little menu where you select a 3D spinning version of their head, and then they can be seen in the game flying planes and jetpacks and whatnot. As stated earlier, you could choose from a bunch of different famous cities to fly around, like New York. There's also a bunch of different vehicles to fly, such as hang gliders, a whole bunch of different planes, hot air balloons, space shuttles, jetpacks, magic carpets. At some point in the footage, the character using a jetpack loses its head for some reason, and I guess this game does look pretty rough. There was certainly
very rough, yeah. But let me
see
not.
firework shows, flight missions,
Yo, I'm fucked
camera
up,
mode,
bro. I'm
even a
not even
moon
gonna say
location.
that. What I was gonna
However,
say.
despite all the content shown, I don't really think they worked very hard on the graphical side of things, considering it all looks very rough. Sure, there was a slightly small dev team working on
So
this
like
thing,
it was made on
and they were working
Unity.
on the Wii after all, which isn't particularly known for its amazing graphics. However, maybe they just weren't finished. I mean, this is a
I'd
cancelled game
say.
after all. Anyways, I'm glad we still got some sort of version of this through Wii Sports Resort's Island Flyover. However, actually being able to play this open-world Pilot Wings game would be absolutely amazing, although I don't think a playable build of the game will ever surface. The IQ Wii was a Chinese version of the Nintendo Wii which was planned for release but eventually never came out. This was due to China further enforcing their already strict gaming laws over there, which led to Nintendo not getting permission from the government to fully release their Wii system in China. However, the files for this console's menu have been found, but the official Chinese translations of many games such as Wii Sports, Mario Party 9, and WarioWare Smooth Moves have all become lost media. There have been remakes of these Chinese translations, however the official things are nowhere to be seen, considering they never officially released to the public. Back in 2005, beta builds...
Okay, we'll continue to that tomorrow. Okay. But y'all, let me know what y'all think. I'm finally back doing long form or hybrid because I will be making some more, a little bit of TikToks. I was going crazy with the TikToks. Alright, y'all blew me up and stuff. Also, one more formality, one more announcement. My birthday's coming up. Pull up to OS Lounge on the 15th. Yeah, the 15th. Friday. Yeah, I'm doing Friday. I'm gonna post on my Instagram story, so check out my Instagram story. I'm gonna put out like links and stuff, so like you see like about admission, the amenities that they got there. Yeah, so come on, meet me there. We're gonna have some fun. It's not really a party, it's just so yeah, could meet me or whatever. If you're in the New York City area or whatever. So yeah, but besides that, so yeah, check out my socials, my TikTok, my Instagram. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all in the next part.